we have a return guest by much popular demand, and we have his, I'll say psychic. That completely undermines it. She's not his psychic whatsoever. She is an amazing person in her own right. I always describe these two as the Jay-Z and Beyonce of hypnosis, and it's a great example of when two people come together with a common goal of the great things that they can achieve. These guys are absolutely smashing it, as you all know. We've got a couple of hellos here. Natasha Stanley says hello. Colin Chapman's here as well. So guys, please make some noise. Put that applause emoji on the comment section. Let me know where you're watching from as well. And please make some noise for the one and only Rich Guzzi and Jolanda. Hello, let me just unmute you. There we go. How are you two?
We're doing very good, Grant. How's it going, buddy?
Really good. I always kind of want to know where, I mean, you guys travel all over the place. Like when it comes to traveling, you're never in one place for too long, but you always seem to be in one place quite often. Where are you guys at the moment?
We are in sunny Las Vegas, although it's sunny, but it's very cold out right now.
Oh, well, I'm in Yorkshire in England and it's snowing. So I would take your cold for my cold.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Jolanda is the beauty and brains behind the scenes. Oh, I thought she was going to say you were the beauty and the beast then. There we go. Natasha says hello, my lovelies. Darren Fraser says hello, everyone.
Darren, we haven't seen you forever.
I know. This is so cool. It's so cool doing this.
And Natasha is coming to Vegas in July for Hypnothoughts.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? I love Hypnothoughts. I've not been to Hypnothoughts. I was supposed to speak a couple of years ago and then something happened. And then I was supposed to speak just before COVID and then COVID happened. And then this year, the agent ran me with a regular booking, which filled up all my kind of July, August and September. And I kind of thought, after the pandemic, I can't afford not to. So
exactly. Yeah. We live by the same philosophy. You know, a stage hypnotist should be doing stage hypnosis. Yeah. If you have shows, you're booking them in, go do that job. There'll be other conferences to go to and meet your friends and stuff, and then become super successful. You become super successful, you go meet your friends everywhere.
Yeah. Well, and it's weird too. Like in our world, comedy clubs are actually slow in the summer, so that's actually the time that we have a little bit more open than during the winter times, the fall, the spring, and the winter.
There we go. So yeah, lots of comments coming in as well. Is it true all riches are just gorgeous people? I think Richard is a bit biased there. Colin Chapman, I want everyone to know I just finished using my Rich Guzzi patented Jizz Wow towel. Absolutely fantastic, 10 out of 10.
A little bit too much information there, Colin.
Yeah. I mean, you know, an applause is fine for the show. Dare I ask what a Rich Guzzi patented Jizz Wow towel is?
No. You don't even want to know.
Yeah, I was going to say there's certain words that mean different things from your side of the world to our side of the world. I believe that one means the same thing on both sides of the pond.
I believe it does.
It's pretty universal.
It's kind of the universal language that everybody knows.
Yes. Tommy V says, hello, Joe and Rich. Miss you guys. Jason,
I can't wait to see him too, man. You know, I tell you, the guy's been a great friend for 30 years.
He's always there when we need him.
Always a great guy.
Jason.
Yeah. I think that's one of the most important things, especially in stage hypnosis. I know here in the UK as well. I mean, anywhere in the world, it can be quite a lonely business. And if you've done a show and you've had some challenges, that drive home or that flight home, you know, that can play with your head a little bit. You've got to have those people. For me, you've got to have people you can sound off to and just kind of feel better about it. So yeah.
You know, I'm glad you said that because, you know, people call me all the time, and because they're starting to know that my phone is always with me. You know, my claim to fame is that when you call me up, I answer my phone. You never get that message that says, "Oh, the mailbox is full." You know, I always answer my phones because I want to help people out.
Yeah.
I'm doing this a long time. You know, more than 30 years, more than 10,000 shows. If you have a problem with a show, or you say, "Hey, you know, this happened like this," you know, what caused that situation? I pretty much will be able to analyze it and say, here's what probably went wrong. Here's what probably, was the situation there. Or sometimes it's like, hey man, I sold a ton of stuff after the show. I made a lot of money, but I tried it the next time. It didn't work that way. And because one little detail was a little off. So I try to give them valuable insight. And that's why I said my phone is always on to people. And hypnotists should be helping other hypnotists out. When people see a great hypnosis show, it makes the entire industry better.
I think, and this is I say me being controversial. It's like English controversy, so it's not very controversial at all, really. But we kind of touched on this a little bit, and we'll not go into too much detail or name names. I think with the nature of what we do, and because it's quite a lonely business, there's a time when a hypnotist kind of believes their own hype a little bit, and does kind of get that ego about them. One of the things I love about you is exactly what you said then. You've been doing it for quite some time. You've done thousands and thousands of shows. Once you've got to that level, there becomes an element where you want to kind of spread the love a bit, share some of that knowledge that you've picked up. It doesn't come from a place of ego. With the increase in conferences, online training and stuff like that, we are seeing lots of fake gurus coming forward, people that don't have the experience. I know a guy who's a very successful trainer in stage hypnosis that's never really done a show. And for me, it's kind of like, it can take away from a bit like that. So when you get people like yourself that are sharing your stuff, it really does make a massive difference.
Yeah, it's actually very disheartening because they'll read my book, take some of the excerpts out of that book and now make a training out of it.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, they have no practical experience. I always tell people, right, there's the science and there's the art.
Yes.
The science is knowing what to do, and then the art is knowing how to do it. And without that practical experience, you're going to fall short. Yeah. And so you could train a lot of, it's like being a history teacher. You teach history, you teach dates and times and all this stuff that went on. But if you didn't live through any of that stuff, then it's going to be, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to actually have experience and do it. When I train, I do like what I call a flight simulator, where I actually put the trainee in a silent room and have, like, say, 4 or 5 people outside the room and doing special things all simultaneously happening on a stage. And then the stage hypnotist has to weave his way out of the traffic and figure out all the decisions to make on the fly.
Yeah.
So you're getting practical experience on how to handle all the such scenarios that happen quite often. So basically like a flight simulator, like an astronaut trains for, being in space, like a pilot, trains for flying an airplane.
Yeah. And, I've been doing it a while, not as long as some, but I've been doing it a while. And when you get to that point when you kind of think, oh, do you know what? Seen it all, done it all, something will happen that catches you completely off guard. It is, like you said then, about training people to expect the completely unexpected, because one person on stage can be one thing when you've got a whole committee up there, all with their own mindset of their own stuff that they bring from their own lives there. Anything can happen. So it does get a bit crazy. A couple of questions as well. Richard Cole says, how long should you be working before you train folks?
Oh man, I would have to say that before you're actually training people, it actually has nothing to do with the amount of shows or the amount of time you're doing it. It's your proficiency level of you having an amazing show every single night. So if you have an amazing show every single night, then I would say then you have the ability to train other people to be amazing also.
Well, and I think also too, you need to have an understanding of why things happen the way they have. Like, a lot of hypnotists don't analyze what went wrong and what went right in their shows. They just think it's random acts. Yeah. And as you and I know, and Rich, it's not random. I mean, human behavior is predictable, and if something goes wrong, it's probably going to go wrong again. Yeah. You need to figure out why it happened, and if you don't know why and you just leave it to chance, you shouldn't be training anybody.
Right. Like, I can give you a couple of great examples right out of the box, because I've had lots. In fact, a good portion of all the people who train stage hypnosis come to me for training. Guys who are doing shows like many years, 20, 30, 40 years. And they would come to me and I'll say, oh yeah, let's keep this on the down low. Let's not, talk about, us talking together. All right, it is what it is. They don't know some things that are, to me, like second nature. I've noticed these things happening time and time again. Something like, two people on the stage knowing each other, and how those energies can cross almost like battery terminals, and they'll pop at the exact same time. They'll pop out, and then also they'll pop out the flanks at the exact same time. So I was doing a show and it was going great, and all of a sudden, boom, I lost 6 subjects all at the same time. I don't even know how that happened. Then all of a sudden the show went down to say 2 people or whatever, and they have to limp the show home.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that those 2 people knowing each other, when if something happens and it pops one of them out, the other one pops out, takes out the flanks also, and next thing you know, you have a weak show.
Yeah.
And you have to know how to handle that situation of 2 people being on the stage who know each other.
Yeah, I think it's like that energy as well. If you've got to break it, if it starts to spread down that line, you got to cut them out. I think some of this is just my opinion. I think sometimes the issue is within the training of a lot of stage hypnosis training, especially, is we are taught, or they are taught, that if it's a bad show, it's because you've got a bad audience. So if it don't work right, it's because they're not respecting. And you've kind of got to, yes, there is challenges, but you've got to kind of go, do you know what, how do I turn a bad audience into a good audience? So,
right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting you say that, because, well, I was a comedian before I was a hypnotist. So I've been on stage, and I was in a band before that. So I've always been on the stage, and I know how to do stage work.
How to work the crowd.
How to work a crowd. And I learned very early on, we're talking like 40 years ago now, when I was a comic. I used to play this club, Rascals Comedy Club, which if you played this club, you made it. All the big stars played there. Every big comic, Jerry Seinfeld, Sam Kinison, Andrew Dice Clay. I mean, if you played there, if you were a headliner at this club, you had finally made it. I wasn't headlining. I was just the MC. I was the opening act. So this is early on in my career. But every time I got on the stage, the stage was hot. I mean, the crowd was hot every single night. And this guy, Danny, was the club manager. And I went to talk to him after the show. I said, Danny, I love playing this club, man. It's always a hot audience. He goes, I do that. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, every audience is made up of the exact same people every night. It doesn't make a difference if they're good people or bad people. There's always the same ratio in the audience every single night. All the way they're sat is what makes the difference. So if you have the good laughers in the front, the good people, then what's going to happen is the laughter is going to radiate out, and then the crowd's going to be a hot crowd.
Yeah.
If the bad people are in the front, then what happens is that the energy dies from the front, and then it can't go out. So you have to play to the hot part of the room. So as you're doing your show, so for a hypnotist, you're doing your pre-talk, and the pre-talk should be funny, by the way. It shouldn't be
it's not a lecture on hypnosis. It's not a lecture on hypnosis.
It should be 5 to 7 minutes of funny material on hypnosis. That's what it should be. And funny hypnosis material means 8 laughs a minute.
Yeah.
That's a comedy material. Comedy material is 8 laughs a minute. So all you folks out there who want to do stage hypnosis, that pre-talk, which is the most important part of the show, if it's 5 minutes, right, you better have a minimum, all right, of 40 laughs.
Yeah.
30 laughs if you're just getting started, but 40 laughs is what you're shooting for in your pre-talk. So you're doing your pre-talk, and all of a sudden you see that the audience is a little weak. Oh, it's a bad crowd tonight. No, it's not. It's me. They're sat funny. And the good laughers, there's some laughers in the back. You now make that the front of your room, and you kind of adjust, and you do joke, 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 and then you hit the front, pop, 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 keep these people involved. You'll notice how the laugh will then radiate back to the front and make that the back of the room, but then it radiates back out. And then within a couple of minutes, you have a great crowd. And now you've turned a poor crowd into a great crowd. And every crowd is the same every night. Same exact amount, same people in the audience.
Yeah, great point there as well, because it teaches the audience that if you're responsive and you're laughing and you're having fun over there, then that's where my focus of attention is. So if you want attention in the audience, then you've got to be responsive. So it kind
exactly.
It trains the audience.
You're training the crowd to be a great crowd.
Yeah, it's weird because I was never into the kind of esoteric energy type of stuff with hypnosis until I started doing this stage stuff. And it really is it's so much about the energy in the room.
It really is.
It really is. The more you start accepting that as a reality, and listen, I'm an Italian guy from New York. We don't believe anything. Very skeptical people. You know, even if we don't believe it unless we see it. Even if we see it, that guy can be a magician. We're very skeptical people. Yeah. But I've seen too much.
As I'm sure Grant has,
as you have as well. This energy stuff, it's how everything works. Yeah. And as soon as you start accepting that into your career and into your life, you'll see how you'll be a much better stage hypnotist, you'll be a much better hypnotist in general, you'll be a much better person in general. You'll be able to just interact with humans better. And that's what it's really all about. Your H to H, human to human. It's no B to B or B to C. It's H to H.
Absolutely. One of the things that well, I saw you at a conference in New York and you were performing a phenomenal show. One of the things you did before the show, and I loved it, because I was always one of those guys that I don't want to go out on stage before anything, but it was to see you kind of do the kind of catching the energy. And the effect that had on the audience was amazing. Whether you believe in the energy stuff or not, people were going, oh, why is he doing that? And they were already processing it in their minds and doing all the work for you. It was incredible to see how such a small thing can have such a dramatic effect on an audience.
Yep.
When we're doing the hypnosis show, I mean, the most important part of hypnosis, especially when you're doing the show, is that people believe hypnosis is real. It all takes from there. If we don't do a show that's real, and they don't believe it's real, then it's going to hurt our clinical. It's going to hurt our people coming to the show. It's going to hurt hypnosis in general. I mean, everything we do should be to make people and make them believe in their heart that hypnosis is real, because it is real. Yeah. It can help people.
Yeah.
And that's what the whole basis of the show is.
Yeah.
Yep. So when you're doing a show, there's thousands of decisions that have to be made simultaneously as you do it. This could over the course of the show. And the better you are at decision making, the better your show is going to be every single night.
Yeah.
So because there's going to be issues, there's going to be problems, there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on. So you want to make sure you make great decisions. And the decision process goes like this. I have to make a decision on this thing that's going on right here. I have to make, and the first one always goes like this. Is this going to make the audience believe more or less that hypnosis is real? That's number one. And then, is this going to make my show better or worse? Funnier or not funnier? Entertaining, inspirational, whatever. Entertainment, inspiration, motivation. So if I make this decision, the second thought process is this going to make it be more entertainment, inspiration, or motivation, or less? And the third one is this decision going to make me more money or less money? Cumulatively.
Yeah.
So you see, money is all the way down to the third. The first decision you always have to make is this is going to make believe more or less. Because if the audience believes that the hypnosis is real, everything else falls into place for you. Yeah. It's the backbone to everything we do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's the hard part, because the audience is walking in wanting to believe it's fake.
Yeah.
Like we have to prove to them it's real.
Yeah. And that's why, see, people don't realize, especially stage hypnotists, we have the benefit of knowledge and experience. We know that the person in chair number 3 is hypnotized, but they're not doing a lot. They're very weak, but we know they're still hypnotized and we leave them there.
Yeah.
However, the audience doesn't have that knowledge nor that experience. They see a subject who's level 2 or 3, which we know we can get them to quit smoking and lose weight, no problem. But you know what? They'd be at level 5 or 6 to be a great subject on stage. So that means the audience doesn't believe that person. So by leaving them there, you're actually hurting your show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to make that person more powerful and drive them down to level 6, or you got to get rid of them. Either or.
Yeah.
And that's the decision-making process.
Yeah. Brenda put up a great comment there as well. What you think about your audience, they can feel. And yeah, I do think they do pick up on that. When you've done some working men's clubs in northern England, especially in Wakefield and Pontefract, it's a good thing that they don't always know exactly what you think about them. Like before COVID, I was lucky enough to get to the level that I was quite selective over some of the shows that I did. Since COVID, I've had to relax some of those levels myself, and some of those first few shows that I did outside of COVID, I look back and I go, wow, I got out alive. So that's the most important thing.
But those are the ones that make you good.
Yeah. Oh,
the hard ones are the ones that make you good. Like I remember back in the day when I went on the road, I've been on the road with almost 16 years now. And in the beginning, I mean, Rich, there's some of the shows we did. I'm like, I can't believe I'm here. But, we made them work and we talked about it every night. And that's why Rich came up with, the gorilla hypnosis and the 5 different inductions. That's all he needs. And it makes the show so much better. Every night we talk about those hard shows. Like, what could we do better? What did we mess up on?
Yeah.
Because I help Rich in the audience. We didn't talk about that. I actually help people in the audience and hypnotize and make sure everybody stays safe along with stage management. And so his techniques rolled into me kind of through osmosis.
Yeah. My thing is I learn everything out of attrition. So a problem arises. How do we fix this problem? So media is a great example, doing hypnosis on the media, radio, TV. So you got to promote your shows. And most of the times the venues we play have a relationship with the media. So you go into a town, I'm going to say, Cincinnati, Ohio. The media is already set up. I got to do TV, I got to do radio in the morning and stuff. So now you're waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning, they would go on the radio show and they want you to hypnotize an intern or something like that, or a bunch of audio, a bunch of listeners that they brought in. So if you have dead air, a lot of dead time doing hypnosis, then that's not what the show wants.
No.
And if you leave the room and go into the green room and hypnotize a bunch of people and then bring them back into the studio, you know what? Now, A, they can't see, but B, you didn't even hear them for a while. And all of a sudden now you bring the person in hypnotized. How do I know this is even real now at this point? So you lose a lot of wow factor. So now I said, you know what? We have to hypnotize them on the air, but it's got to be fast and effective, and it's got to make them super deep right away to get them, and it's got to be entertaining. So that's a tall order. And I'm like, okay, so I had to come up with an induction that's going to do that. And that's how that induction was developed. So now I can knock the guy out within, like 15, 20 seconds and be off to the races and start doing my shtick on the radio or on TV. So that, everything you do is fixing a problem. And that problem was getting people hypnotized deep and fast, on the air live.
Yeah. The live stuff is such a different beast to tackle. I got booked by a local radio station, which at the time was quite a big radio station here. And it was their breakfast morning show, and the 2 presenters were celebrities in and of their own right. They've invited me in to hypnotize the other presenter into doing something. But when I've got there, the female co-presenter had no idea this was going to happen. And it was sprung on her at the last minute. And because she was the co-presenter, this was a challenge. And I'd love to say I absolutely knocked it out of the park and it was brilliant. The reality is I've got, on the count of 3, you'll not remember your own name. And she's gone, it's Jeanette. And we're live at this point. And I'm like, oh, shit. And it was proper. It was the panic in there, but luckily I managed to save it by utilizing like a hand stick to a cup and leveraging that. But at that point, literally, if you could have seen my face, I must have looked like a rabbit in the headlights.
Yeah, that's a hard situation. That's a hard situation to be in right there.
Oh, exactly. But I mean, I wasn't prepared for that. I was prepared for everybody's in on it. Everything's going to be fine. They're going to go with it. It's going to be wonderful. Gets there and she's like, oh no, I'm scared of hypnosis. Don't want to do it. They want you to hypnotize me into proposing to my boyfriend. It's not something I want to do. And it was all like stacked against me. And in my mind, I'm like, this is going to be hard work.
Right.
And it was. So yeah. But I could have come away from that and gone, oh, it's because of all these reasons that's the reason why it didn't work, because she wasn't prepared, she wasn't willing, she wasn't this. But the reality is I came away from that going, right, I need more tools in my toolbox for exactly what you just said then, so that when that happens again, I can knock them out and get straight into it.
Exactly, especially because that's a very common scenario that I used to see over and over again. You know, you get booked to do a show, and then nobody wants to be hypnotized.
Yeah.
And or the person they give you to hypnotize is fighting you. There's so many different, there's so many scenarios just like that you talk about, and you're painted into a corner.
Yeah.
So there is techniques on how to get out of that traffic. You know, first of all, I don't even tell them the hypnosis is coming. I trick them.
Yeah.
And that's part of the technique. You know, you have to, in your pre-talk, when you're doing the interview ahead of time, you're already using the hypnotic commands to start knocking them out.
Yeah.
So it's all part of the process, and it only comes through figuring it out. Because I had the exact same scenario happen to me. You know, where they give you somebody who does not want to be hypnotized, and now you're in trouble. You know, what are you going to do?
Well, and a couple of times we've tricked them too. Like Rich will talk to them, and I'll grab them, and they won't even know what happened because they don't expect it from me.
Yeah, we're tag teaming them. You know, so I'll be talking, and then Joe is really actually doing the induction on them and knocking them out, and we give them the old triangle routine.
Nice. I must admit, it's one of the things that I kind of always say, especially having a glamorous female with you. It makes a big difference, because I don't know about in the US, but here in the UK, us hypnotists kind of got a bit of a weird reputation. There's so many kind of like fat middle-aged men, you know, kind of these young girls in these poses. And so I think some females are nervous about joining on stage, but by having a female with you as well, it balances that energy out as well. So you kind of got that masculine and paternal energy as well. So
it sure does. Yeah, she brings so much to the table because of that exact reason. She's got a softer personality. You know, I'm like a man's man. Guys was, hey man, tell me how to do that stuff. And, you know, they're wanting to learn, the badass, guerrilla hypnosis techniques. But they'll come to Joe for that softer approach and the softer side. And the people at the show sometimes want to talk to her instead of me, because she was the one hypnotizing people in the audience that didn't volunteer. And they were just doing the good energy affirmation at the end, towards the end of their show. And she nurtured them along. Nice. And now they're like, wow, that was really good. Because you were hypnotized. Well, I was amazing. And now they want to, buy the programs off you. They want to, sign up for,
bring us into their corporation.
Yeah, bring us into the, to the company meetings and stuff. And that's all because of what she does in the audience.
Actually, it's funny too. Pat's on with us right now. And Pat always says when we hypnotize him, he said it's like when Rich hypnotizes, it was like hitting over the head with a sledgehammer. When I hypnotize, it was like a warm fuzzy blanket.
But they have
that.
Techniques.
Even though it's the same technique done in different emotions, kind of, I guess. I don't know how to explain it.
You have a different energy than me.
Different energy.
Yeah, but it's actually the same exact technique. Like, we're using the same process. We're using the guerrilla hypnosis. Mm-hmm. We're using, Rich's finger magnet induction, which he's perfected to get people out fast. But we take just a different emotional approach, I guess, or a different personality approach.
Mm-hmm. Pat says that Rich is like a hypnotic bazooka.
He'll get you out fast, though.
That's got T-shirt written all over it, hasn't it? The hypnotic bazooka. Brenda Kay says it sounds like a great combo. You mentioned then about kind of selling the product afterwards. Like in the UK, we're not big on that kind of backroom sales, and we kind of, I think, especially English people, we're a bit shy when it comes to the sales side of things. But I think it's so important you do a good show, you finish the show, you've got to leverage that into, like you said, getting into the corporate, getting into the programs, bringing you into their organizations, selling that product. What type of things do you sell after a show?
All right, so this is what's near and dear to my heart, because I tell stage hypnotists who I love this topic, and I want stage hypnotists to do well. That's my key goal here. The first thing you can do is be great at the sales pitch at the end of your show, because I call it the great equalizer. Right. So granted, we've been taking email addresses for the past 20 years. We got 500,000 email addresses from all these people, fans who come to see my show. So I'm more famous than the average guy. So when you just start out as a stage hypnotist, you're not going to be as famous as me. So your crowds are not going to be as large. However, even if you were to give away cheap tickets to your show, $5, and a bunch of people came to your show, if you sell product after your show and you do it as well as me, you can make just as much money as me selling product if you just did the same process. So it's the great equalizer. Yet so many stage hypnotists leave that money on the table. It's not just stage hypnotists, it's bands and comedians and magicians. Everybody's leaving this money on the table. And there's a special way you would do your pitch. And it doesn't make a difference where you are in the world, because I've done this everywhere. People are people. And if you show them a good product, you show them like hypnosis is real, this is going to make your life amazing. Here's how you can do it, and here's what I got to offer you. They're going to want it.
Yeah.
And all those people on stage are all going to want it, number one. All the people who are in their group watching them are going to want it. And then the people that Joe hypnotized in the audience, they're going to want it. So now you start adding it all up. So you have a stack of programs every year for weight loss, stop smoking, reduce stress, letting go of the past,
we have 17 different programs.
17 different programs. You sell them for $20 each, or you sell the whole bundle for like $100. And all of a sudden, that's going to start adding up. So let's say you do 100 shows next year. All right. Just think about what would happen if you made an extra $500 or $1,000 per show selling product after the show. How would that look on your income statement for next year? So it's good being able to do it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think with hypnotists too, they're going into hypnosis because they want to help people. And then they feel guilt because they're charging people for the help. Like even with sessions, we've heard this people, I feel bad charging them. Well, that's what, not for nothing. We're doing the stage show to make money. Yes, we want to help people, but we're not doing it just out of the kindness of our heart. Yeah. I mean, we're here to make some money. And by selling that stuff, and that's actually why I started hypnotizing, truthfully. I mean, I've always helped people. I was a corporate trainer before Rich, and I love helping people. But when I hypnotize in the audience, they trust me more at the sales table, and they'll talk to me and not just Rich.
Yeah.
It makes people have more confidence in you.
It's weird because I had a couple of incidents that made me realize the power of that back of room stuff as well. One was, I think it was the first or second cruise I ever did. And again, even on the cruises at first, I wasn't selling that much product. I wasn't, because for me, I didn't feel like it was me. But then there was a magician on with me, and I remember he's come up the deck with me, and he had his two suitcases, one with his stuff in, and the other suitcase was filled with his product. He had 500 DVDs of his top 10 magic tricks or whatever it was.
Right.
And as we were leaving, I've gone, "Oh, how did it go with your DVDs?" He went, "Oh, sold them all." I'm like, "What?" And literally, he'd made $20,000 extra on top of his show fee for doing nothing. And I'm like, wow, that's worth an hour of my time to stay behind after a show and put that in there.
I tell all my people the exact same thing. I said, why wouldn't you do this?
Yeah.
Once you get good at it, a $20,000 night is not unheard of.
Well, and the biggest thing too is what he's probably left on the table is you collect their email address and their phone number after every sale you make, and now you're putting them on the list, and now you have a fan for life. Like we did a lot of cruise ships, and a lot of those people are from Florida. Well, guess what happens? Now they're hiring us for corporate events, and they're coming to the comedy shows all over Florida because we can contact them and say, guess where we're going to be.
I look at it like this. So you're doing a show, and there's 100 people in the audience. I guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt that some of those people in that audience are I call them principals. These are people who own businesses, they own companies, they're a little entrepreneurial. And those people, if you let them know, you see their imaginations with the fact that you can help their employees make them more money and be more motivated, all that stuff, you will see that you will get gigs out of at a default. My phone rings and my email hits literally every week with 10 opportunities to do extra shows. Now I can't do them all because a lot of times they're looking for a clown. Hey, I got $500. Can you do it? I'm not gonna do it for $500.
Yeah.
But so I can't. Obviously, a lot of them are gigs like that. But you know what? I get a lot of the $5,000 ones too. All because I tell them at the end of the show that I also do this, and I plant that imagination in there throughout the show that this is going to happen. And they say, now they think it's their idea, and they will hire you to work at their company. A lot of real estate people, a lot of insurance people, they have a lot of brokers and agents and stuff. and they'll bring you in to speak and talk or train and any of those things. And that's all I call spin-off business.
Yeah.
You know, and a spin-off business can pay you more than the actual gig itself.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like you said, it's about building that list. It's about building that network, and that back of room product that you're selling all raises that profile of you as well. And again, I went to a concert with you probably wouldn't have heard of him in the US. He's a very unique act. It's called Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer. So you're YouTubing, the guy's awesome. Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer. So imagine like a straw bowler, handlebar mustache, a little ukulele banjo wearing tweed. But he does like hip hop in the style of chap hop. So it's very English tweed, doing like all sorts of real good hip hop tracks. He's a very unique act. After his show, I had to queue up because I wanted to buy a lapel badge off him, just as a kind of way of kind of saying, great show, thank you very much. I'll take one of those lapel badges. £20 it cost me for a little lapel pin, £20. But I was happy that's like what, $30, $40. I was happy to pay that because every time I look at that lapel pin, it reminds me of the absolute comedy night that I had where some very English, very white guy with a ukulele banjo was singing hip hop. And so people want to take something away as well, you know, as well as the self-help stuff, as well as the weight loss, as well as the corporate stuff. They want something to remind them of the experience that they had with you. So, yeah. So after that, I kind of thought, right, I need to up it now.
That's so true. Well, and also too, another trick, if you make the product kind of towards the woman, because people usually come to comedy clubs in couples. The women want to buy something and the men want to buy the woman something.
Great tip.
So just
great tip.
So if you're going to do t-shirts, right. Women's t-shirts sell 10-1 to men's.
Yeah. I like digital products because it's, you know, it's obviously easy to carry around. I basically do everything from the cell phone and from iPad kiosks now. But another little trick of the trade, if you guys want to take something away where this interview made you big time money, take this away right now. If you don't have products, you better get them now. You better record products. And in fact, if you want to show, I'll show you an easy way how to record products very easily. In fact, I'll even give you the music to do it for free. I'm gonna give it to you for free. I'm gonna give it as my gift for you, for all your listeners. I'm gonna give it to you as a gift. You have to make products. Number one, start with the staples: stop smoking, lose weight, reduce stress, sleeping better, stuff like that. Start with those. When you're selling after your show, show them each product one after another, and start stacking the brain. I got this one for sleeping better. I got this one for losing weight. I got this one for stopping smoking. I got this one for reducing stress. And what's happening is as you're doing it, they're going, I could use that one. I use that one too. I use that one. I could. Then all of a sudden, you start doing so many that their brain starts to like get skitzed out. And all of a sudden you say, but I know what you're saying. I could use every one of those things. What should I do? I got a pack that's got all of them. And you could actually see the look on their faces go like this. Oh, thank God. All right. And it's called the Zagarnik Effect. And because the human brain loves finality, it hates unfinished business.
Mm.
Stack them. Then you give them the out. They come up after the show. This box, it's got all of them. Yeah. No, but if, in other words, if I buy this, I'll have everything, right? Yes. Give me the box.
Brilliant.
The number one seller.
So the number one seller. So,
Brilliant.
So keep stacking them, and overwhelm them. It's almost like a confusion induction. You stack them, and then give them the out. And all of a sudden, pow, that's the one they buy.
Yeah, Brenda says, great advice. What do you show them if it's digital?
We actually have the physical CDs.
I'll have a physical CD that I'll show them. That way,
because people want to see something.
Because they want to see, they want to see it, right? And the pack the pack comes in a really nice, fancy box with a flash drive in it.
Nice.
And some people still want the digital. Want the real physical CD, but people are moving more towards digital. So we actually have a special program that we created.
Yeah, actually, I built an app on the phone that I tap on the app and it pulls up all the digital products, and I just push the button once they want, and it zaps it right to their phone.
They get an email that fast and directions how to use it. And now we have a special contact. We have their email, and everything's ready to go. And now we have a client for life.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
So, in fact, if anybody wants that app, we can actually have that app built for you if you want it.
Brilliant. Well, let me just very quickly, whilst you're there, let me put a link up to your website.
Well, actually, Gorilla Hypnosis is the one right now. If you go to gorillahypnosis.com, there is a sign up where you get that free, royalty-free music.
You get the music. You'll get my induction script.
Good energy affirmation.
Good energy affirmation script, the one that sells the product after the show.
You'll have to excuse my face while I'm typing, because what I'm going to do, I'll type this in and then I'll put it in the comment section.
And then also, too, if you're interested in doing a consultation with Rich, want to find out a little bit more, or you just want to talk about something special that you're working on, there's a link there to schedule a 30-minute consultation for free with Rich.
Brilliant. Gorilla Hypnosis.
And it's spelled like the gorilla because nobody can spell it the other way. I keep spelling it wrong.
It's because it's got 2 R's and 2 L's.
You can't spell it that way, and it will go to the same place, though.
It will, yes. It will go. Because I own both names.
Oh, has it got? Is it purple with a little video at the beginning?
That's it.
That's it. Right. Let me just.
Oh, and you can also see Rich using Gorilla Hypnosis tactics to hypnotize a guy in 15 seconds in the casino. We just did that like last month.
Nice.
And we were in Alaska. And you'll notice there's a couple of celebrities in the background watching Rich do the hypnosis, too. We walked in at midnight, and Jeffrey Ross and Seth Green are there in this bar in the middle of Anchorage, Alaska. And we're completely fascinated by the whole hypnosis thing. It was crazy.
Nice. And that's one of the great things with hypnosis is when you do it and it's so dramatic, people around see it and they want to get involved then. And that's such a great way, again, of kind of, bringing that out to other people.
You know this because you're a showman. You're a legitimate showman. The wow factor is the key ingredient here. You got to give them the wow.
Yeah.
People don't realize, and hypnotists don't realize that if you talk and in England, you actually have it a little bit easier because hypnosis is a little bit more widely accepted. Where in the States, you ask 100 people what hypnosis is, 98 of them wouldn't even know what it really was.
Wow.
It's really it's unknown art. Where if you ask what a chiropractor does, he cracks your back. He does the chiropractor's above the hypnotist. So
I saw, sorry to interrupt. I saw, I think it was a Brazilian hypnotist on YouTube the other day when I was researching for something else, and he had an amazing induction. He had this really dramatic kind of Brazilian accent, which made him sound dead exotic anyway. But he was a chiropractor as well, I think. And he would just literally wobble the head about and then just crack it. And they would put a microphone on the back of this person's neck. You would hear the crack and then they would go into hypnosis. It looks amazing, but I was watching it thinking, no insurance company in the world is going to approve of that as an induction. And I'm like,
some brand new guy trying it too.
Yeah, I know. Some maniac's going to try to do that.
And I think that's the problem with YouTube. And we've got everyone wants to be a YouTuber now. Speaking of which, if you are on YouTube, please do subscribe. Everyone wants to be gotta get a plug in. Everyone wants to be a YouTuber. So, they're going online, they're seeing professionals doing, dramatic street inductions and fast stuff. And then without proper training, going out and trying to emulate that. And like you said earlier, without the years of experience, without the knowing what could go wrong. And it is a bit like the Wild West online at the moment when it comes to hypnosis.
It really is.
Well, and I'll tell them about, if you want to learn Gorilla Hypnosis, during Hypnothoughts, Rich is doing the post-conference.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a post-conference Gorilla Hypnosis class at Hypnothoughts.
Nice.
August 2nd and 3rd.
But here's the thing with that class, for me, it's all about doing. So 2 days we learn the techniques, and 2 nights I bring you out in the streets and we knock people out into some really hard scenarios. Standing up in a bar with a band playing in the background. You have to be like, it's real precarious situations.
Which you can see in the videos, actually, when you go to Gorilla Hypnosis.
Yeah. So, and I do it first. I show them that this can be done. So I don't want to put anybody in a situation that, hey, if I don't do it, then you don't have to do it.
Yeah,
but I'll do something really hard. Like the fountains are going off in front of the Bellagio, and we're hypnotizing people.
Nice.
But yeah, it's you have to do it. If you don't get your hands dirty and actually do the techniques, you're never really going to learn it.
I always find it quite interesting on like Fremont Street. And I know a lot of the guys after the conference go down Fremont Street and try and do stuff. And I kind of think, how do you get people's attention with some of the stuff that is going on Fremont Street anyway? It's a bit crazy, is that?
Yep. Well, it's all about the approach. We actually teach that. Day one of guerrilla hypnosis is a lot about talking and your approach
and building your confidence up so that you know that you can do it.
Yeah,
and making people feel comfortable and trust you.
That confidence and the way you speak to other people is the key ingredient. 80% of the hypnosis job is done in your pre-talk, in your rapport building. If you can get that done, the mechanics of the actual induction is a foregone conclusion.
Yeah. So I was just about to say, how much do you think it is to be a successful hypnotist or to hypnotize successfully? How much is technique and how much is confidence?
Confidence is 80%. Technique is the other 20.
Yeah.
I have a horrible technique. Mine is not that good, really.
Yeah, no.
But I have the confidence, and I knock everyone out.
Yeah.
Her hypnotic actual mechanics are extremely poor. Actually, they're not poor. You know what they are? They're very incidental. It was almost non-existent. But the talk leading up to it and the confidence level before it is so off the charts that they're knocked out before she even has to do anything. Yeah. She'll just like this. All right, now look at my and sleep. And she knocks and she pulls them down, and they're out hard, and then she drags them to the stage, and they're and they're killer subjects.
So as a couple, how long have you two been together now?
Almost 17 years.
Yes, maybe 17 years.
Wow, that's a testament to hypnosis in and of itself. Like, how does two hypnotists, like being on the road, let's say you've had an argument, let's say you've had a disagreement, how does that chemistry work whilst gigging, whilst still performing together, whilst both being hypnotists as well anyway? Well,
there's been times we've been in the green room and literally I'm just so mad at him that I can't stand it. But the thing is when you go out that door, it's business.
Yeah, it really is. I could literally
it's about the show.
We could be literally fighting, hands down, this, that, and the other thing. I'll be eating a sandwich. Rich Guzzi. All right, we're gonna get put the sandwich down. I walk to the stage. I'm Mr. Happy. Hey, how you doing, folks? Right up.
Yeah,
I live like this. So I live in the United States of America. The average person, right, and we're like one of the richest countries in the world. The average person makes like $50,000 a year, makes $1,000 a week, right? So you come to the Rich Guzzi show, and you pay like $20 a head, $25 a head to come in there. You got to hire a babysitter, so you're like $75, $80, $90 deep at that point. She has a chicken sandwich, she has a hamburger, 2 beers, 2 wines. He's $150, $200 deep, right? He made $1,000 for the week. Pay his taxes, he takes that out. He's making $600 a week take home. He paid 25% of his take home pay to see my show. How dare I not give him something amazing? So he showed up. He paid his money. It's not his problem that I'm mad at her or she's mad at me. We're fighting. I have to give them the most dynamite wow experience they've ever seen. That's, as they say in show business, the show must go on. You have to. You're a performer. You're a brilliant performer, and you know that every night, if you're in a bad mood, you don't feel good or whatever, you still have to do the show. And you do a good job.
The contract I was telling you about earlier that's prevented me from going over to Hypno Thoughts this year. That for me is an every kind of Sunday show for the summer season. Every week, it's a great show for me. 1 week. Literally just as I've arrived at the venue, and it sounds like a horrible story, but there's a positive message behind it. I got the phone call that my mum had a fall and passed. She died. And this sounds cold. There was nothing I could do about it at that point. So I've got to go on stage. I've got to put my jacket on, and when that jacket goes on, that's it. I'm show Grant then. Put that jacket on and go do the show. And to be fair, I think it really helped me because you put it in a box and you go and do the show. And then after the show, then you kind of go, right, now I can deal with this now. Because yes, would the venue have understood that I couldn't go on stage? Yes, they'd have understood. Would the audience have understood? They'd have probably understood, but they've took their time out of their holiday, their day to come and see me. So, it's about, like exactly what you said, it's about giving them value. And the money becomes secondary to that. So yeah,
man, your stock just went up 1,000 times.
Oh, well,
because you're a true professional. You're a true showman, and as they say, the show must go on.
Absolutely,
and that's a real hard one. I mean, that's as tough as it gets.
Yeah,
that's a real hard one. And you rose to the occasion and did what you had to do, and then after the show's over, you deal with it.
It's doing reps. You go to the gym. I don't go that often, but you go to the gym. You do those reps. It's hard. It builds muscle. It builds calluses. It's how you become a professional, by doing the stuff that's hard. And when you do that really tough show, after that it's never going to be as tough as that. So if you don't get all the volunteers that you necessarily want, it doesn't really matter. It's not the toughest show you've ever done. So I think the toughest show I ever did was I was doing the horse race skit, and I think in the US you call them a heavy set lady. That's not what we call them in Northern England. A heavy set lady, her chair had gone forward, and when it came back and landed back down, it was right on my shoe, right on my toe. That was a tough show. That was a really tough show, and you got to walk it off. That was a tough show. Yeah.
Everybody that trains with us, that's why we tape the chairs together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny.
It's a lesson learned.
That stuff always seems to happen. You got to walk it off. It's tough.
Oh, did you break your foot?
I think it was fractured.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I did not want to take my shoes off, because I thought, if I take these shoes off at the venue with the swelling, I'm never going to get them back on again.
Oh
yeah. I know you'll be doing a one show, a 1 foot.
So yeah, but yeah, I always kind of think, if it can happen, it's happened.
Yes. Oh so, man, that's great. That's what happens. That's what the experience. You do a lot of shows. That's what happens.
Yeah. 1 second. Just stay there 1 second. Let me just. The book.
Hey, there it is. Yep.
There is the book.
Do you know designed the cover.
You did.
I did.
That's
part of my job. I'm the graphic designer.
Joe
for
is
Rich
a great
too.
graphic designer,
and I do websites and graphics for Rich too. So
brilliant. I was going to say, Rich's website is brilliant, and this is not taken away from the content of the book, but I'm a big believer in what a book looks like determines whether somebody buys it or not. It's the most important thing, and it is a great book. Anyone that's not got this book should get it, because there's a few stage hypnosis books out there, and there's a few of them that are written by people that don't necessarily have the vast experience that you have got. Reading this book, that comes across, and it's full of some absolute golden nuggets. So, as if by magic, I have a little a link there that goes to Amazon.com, so people can purchase that book as well.
I didn't hold anything back. I wanted to I wanted to give the industry a good service. That, hey, this is, if you could follow this, you'll know the science of stage hypnosis.
Well, and not even just stage hypnosis, because it's about performing even to one person.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
even if you're doing clinical and you're doing a speech in front of the women's group or the Kiwanis, it's got all those things in there. He's very transparent about what works and what doesn't work. And again, all the stuff we've discussed for 17 years.
Yeah, I know. That's why I called it performing hypnosis instead of stage hypnosis.
Yeah.
Everything is a performance in my book. If you're in a coffee shop and you're hypnotizing somebody at the coffee shop, and now all of a sudden 3 or 4 people are now watching you do this little thing going on, that's a performance.
Yeah.
And
even in the therapist that's in their therapy room, it's a performance. It's a show. It's a ritual. What they wear, their stage is their therapy room. I'm 110% behind you on that whole performing hypnosis versus stage hypnosis.
Exactly. So, yeah, I didn't hold anything back. There's 300 different nuances in the book. I tell people, if you learn 10 of them, if you learn 10, you're amongst the best on the planet. There's 300 in there.
Wow. Yeah.
It's like I said, I didn't hold anything back. Richard Nongard's a good buddy of mine. He says, just lead with your best stuff. Just throw it out there. Give him the good stuff. And that's what I did. I didn't want to hold anything back.
Yeah. Oh, see, Richard Cole says performance hypnosis versus stage hypnosis. That's my takeaway. Yeah. I mean, you've got to look at it like you are putting on a performance. You're putting on a show. It's not just a case of hypnotizing people.
You're on TV, and a lot of times it's mostly a very short spot you're getting. So you have to do a pre-talk, hypnotize somebody, make them do some funny stuff, do a good energy affirmation, because you always have to do something good for that person you've hypnotized.
Yep.
Post-hypnotic suggestion, take them out of hypnosis, sell what you're selling, your agenda, and that's the show, all within 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a tall order. So you have to perform that just right. And if you don't, then it's gonna be boring, or it's gonna go long. I've seen these hypnotists do these long, drawn out inductions on the air, and I'm like, look what's going on here. This is another black eye for hypnosis.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't work all that good too in the bargain. And then now it's like, all right, this could have been done so much better.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing too. That's one thing that I love about Rich, and I couldn't be with someone that didn't do it, is even when they go out on the street, all the students are giving the people they hypnotize something good. Like it's either the good energy affirmation or they're helping them with something, but everything is always got, even the show ends on a high note where people are getting the gift to accomplish their goals and do whatever they want. I mean, I couldn't be with somebody that doesn't possess that. I mean, the whole point of it is to help people. And
yeah. In fact, the good energy affirmation is broken down into, excuse me, it's broken down into 8 sections. You could do either one section or all 8, depending on how much time you have. But it's designed to A, emerge the subject properly, B, give them something really awesome to make their life better, and C, see the imaginations of the minds of the bystanders watching to say, I want to get hypnosis into my life. I want to buy products from this person, and I want to have this person be part of my circle. And it's all NLP to the hilt.
Yeah.
I always do that good energy affirmation after every performance. It is my gift to the hypnosis community. If you sign up for that thing with the music, you also get that good energy affirmation script word for word with a full license to use it as much as you want.
Brilliant. That is, again, delivering value to people watching, which is absolutely fantastic. Darren Fraser says he's only buying it if you both agree to autograph it for him.
Absolutely. And I'll use my Hollywood signature.
I wonder where you're going with that then.
I tell everybody, every performer, if you're going to have the it factor, you need to have a Hollywood signature.
Yeah.
So a Hollywood signature is this. You got to sign a book. You got to sign, an autograph after a show. You want to, sign a T-shirt. You can't use your signature that you use to sign your checks. That would look stupid. A Hollywood signature looks like you're a caricature version of your name.
Ah.
So, and when you do it, if you want the real good magic trick here, make it where you have a caricature version of your name. So it looks like your name. So Grant Sanders would look like, you'd have like a big G, a big S, and it would look like something fancy. And you put yourself in a state, so every time you sign it, it anchors you in where you get into that flow state. I'm the man, or I'm the woman. So now you sign that, and all of a sudden that becomes your anchor.
Yeah.
I'm a celebrity. I am a star. And
love it.
I teach that in my It Factor. That Hollywood signature, when every time you sign it, it's your anchor. And that's the thing that catapults you to the next level.
Brilliant. Richard Cole's got a great question. He says, where is Rich and Joe in 7 years?
Probably still fighting.
I don't know. You know what? I was doing 300 shows a year up until COVID. I'll probably knock that down to 100 now, because I still want to stay out in the field doing some shows.
Yeah.
But I've transformed the show now into a complete inspirational message show.
And the new show's Rich Guzzi's Discover the Power Experience.
Yes. So it's all about discovering the power, the energy. So I really want to get the message out of what hypnosis can really do. It's my objective to get hypnosis on the map in a big way. And I will use the show to catapult that so that it'll help all hypnotists.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So between that, expanding Hypnosis World's reach, my Hypnosis World website, to give the most amazing resources for hypnotists to become better. Those are my two goals. If I get that done, and I think within the next 5 to 7 years, we will have that done. Because Hypnosis World is becoming a great resource now.
Well, with it being
better in the next couple of years.
Yeah, with it being Hypnosis World, it leads me into the next bit. And Darren wanted his book signed, and I realised that my book isn't signed. So, I mean, that would be a great chance maybe that you guys should maybe bring Hypnosis World, bring some training here to sunny old England at some point. I think that would go really well.
I would absolutely love that.
We need to work on something, get something together, all of us.
Absolutely.
I definitely would do that in a flash because I've never been to England and I want to go.
We're ready to travel.
We're ready to travel over there. But my main thing is I want to see hypnotists really excel at this art, and have them stop training with all that extra that stuff that is going to get them nowhere.
Yeah.
In 3 days, I can change your life.
Yeah.
I can literally make it where you will change your life. Your career will be on autopilot.
Yeah.
I don't book shows, believe it or not. I don't have to call for work and get working. Those 300 shows came in out of just default. Yeah. They would just come in. I do a show at a venue, and after the show's over, hey, when you want to do it again? Boom. And it's already booked in. That, and then other shows through emails and text messages coming to me from other venues. Hey, you want to do my place now? Yes. And it just comes in. Your life will basically be on autopilot. You'll never have to do anything additional. I tell that's the difference between a great show and a good, and a good show.
Yeah.
Right. A fair show is this. All right, man, here's your money. What do I owe you? All right, here's your money. All right, thanks. And they're off. A good show is this. Hey, man, that was really good. All right, here's your money and stuff like that, right? Give me a call, and maybe we'll do this again. Hey, Julie, you have those numbers for the bar or something like that? And they leave. A great show is, whoa, come here, man. Let me get the calendar out. When can we do this again? And they put it in right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to go from good to great.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can't be complacent with keep staying where you're at. You have to take that next step and make it better.
Yeah. The audience, I tell people the audience is always right. The audience will tell you.
Yeah. That's a great measure of it. If you're getting bums on seats and people are coming back to your show, then you're doing something right. And like you said about that rebooking, if you're getting rebooked, you're doing something right. So yeah. Guys, it's been absolutely incredible to have you on. I know you're one of my favorites from the early days when we first started this Grant Talks Funny Bits. And I know it's one that a lot of people have been talking about, and it's great to have you both on as well. Guys, please do hit Rich up on the Gorilla Hypnosis website. Let me just pop that up there again. That should appear in the comment section. And do check out his social media, his YouTube, his Facebook, everything, and show him lots and lots of love as well. Please, do share that love as well. Rich is a great guy. Jo is a great lady too. We'll definitely kind of talk, see about.
I can't wait to see you live again, face to face.
It's been way too long.
It's been way too long. Again, with the thing, we're coming out of this now. We're on the opposite. We're on the opposite side of it.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, no, we are
People
now.
are tired.
Yeah,
of it.
I can
it's
tell.
Gonna be fine.
Yeah, I can tell.
My psychic predictions was COVID, World War III, and then aliens. So after aliens, after the aliens have invaded, then I'll be at Hypno Thoughts. Yeah. Brilliant. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, and some real golden nuggets that I hope people can take away from there as well. And it's great to see in the comment section how much love for both of you as well.
Thank you everybody for showing up and being a part of this. It was great. We appreciate you so much.
Oh,
Yes.
and likewise.
I'm here to help this industry in every possible way. So, like I said, get the free music, get the free scripts.
Schedule a consultation with Rich.
Yeah, schedule a consultation with me. I'll help you out. I'll show you exactly how to get your career where it needs to be.
Fantastic. Guys, get in touch. Guys, thank you very much. That's it for this week. I shall see you all next week, and take care.
Have a good one.
You too, buddy.